Greetings and welcome to the channel, and thank you for stopping by. My name is Dr. Nana Gyesie, transformational coach here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks heal, transform their lives to a resilient life right here, right now. Today, we're going to be talking about how narcissistic abuse transforms empaths from being dualistic into a non-dual perspective, which is really connected with their higher self. And we'll journey to the depths of this topic, unpacking the layers of narcissistic abuse, its impact on empaths, and this profound concept of non-duality and the ultimate realization of awareness that leads to liberation. So grab a journal, find a quiet space, and let's begin. Now let's set the scene, talking about what narcissistic abuse is. Narcissistic abuse is essentially a pattern of manipulative behavior by narcissists aimed at controlling and demeaning their victims. For example, they use gaslighting, where reality is distorted to make the victim doubt their own experiences, and love bombing, which is a phase of excessive attention designed to create dependency. Statistics show that 1 in 4 individuals will experience some form of emotional abuse in their relationships. And in fact, some of the key tactics used by narcissists include gaslighting, which we just talked about, triangulation, which is using a third party to create jealousy or competition, yes, and then love bombing, which is where they idealize you, which is followed by devaluation and discard. So this sounds very antagonistic, but why is there a connection between the empath and the narcissist? Well, it's because empaths are natural healers and feelers. Their sensitivity allows them to understand and absorb others' emotions deeply. And narcissists are drawn to empaths because of the empath's deep capacity for love and understanding. And the narcissists need to fill their internal void by feeding on empathic energy. It's a very vampiristic dynamic. And the psychological and spiritual impacts of this include the initial devastation, which includes loss of self-esteem, confusion, and self-doubt. And then, of course, there are real long-term effects, which include post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, hypervigilance, and the need to rebuild trust. So the soul's cry for transformation is how abuse sets the stage for spiritual awakening. But before we go any further into the topic, it's important to understand why empaths are targeted. Well, the first reason is because of the empath's light. So empath's natural radiance is a mirror to others' unresolved wounds. And the role of empathy in the healing process is why this is misunderstood, because empaths, as spiritual mirrors, deeply and inadvertently trigger deep insecurities in narcissists. The second reason why empaths are targeted is because of the narcissist's shadow. In other words, a narcissist has an inability to process their own inner wounds, and their behavior stems from an inner sense of inadequacy marked by grandiosity. And of course, there's the karmic pool, i.e., lessons tied to patterns of abuse and healing. The unresolved karma, which is basically cause and effect, that connects empaths and narcissists in cycles of learning and growth, is related to this karmic pool. And then, of course, there's a spiritual perspective, which I'm very interested in, which is the empath's journey as a soul contract, i.e., agreeing to experiences that create growth. How pre-life agreements, if you want to quote people like Dolores Cannon and others who talk about how those agreements influence the role of narcissists and empaths. And of course, I like to reference Joseph Campbell's work related to the hero's journey, which is the empath's call to adventure and ultimate return. And it compares the empath's path to well-known spiritual archetypes. And of course, the deeper reasons for this is because explains why empaths have been attacked their whole lives. And these experiences are tools to sharpen the awareness of the empath and to awaken their gifts. So, the question for you before we continue is, how has your light been a gift and a challenge in your relationships? And if any of this connects to you, type transform in the comments section if I can be of help to you. But now we should go into the shift into non duality. This is really what this video is about. What is non duality? It's effectively the understanding that all things are interconnected and the illusion or Maya of separatedness is a construct of the ego. And this is largely known from various traditions from Africa, from the Advaita Vedanta in Hinduism, from the Buddhist way of looking at the world, and several mystical traditions worldwide. The key principles here are awareness, oneness, or one love, as Rastafari would say, and the dissolution of dualistic thinking. So, how does abuse spark awakening? Well, abuse leads to the collapse of the false self. In other words, it strips away illusions of identity. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, etc., etc. Or I'm better than everybody, whatever the angle is. And the shattering of ego attachments opens the door to self inquiry. Also, pain is a portal for growth because suffering forces us to seek deeper truths. In fact, there are many who have gone through this. If you think about the case of Nelson Mandela, going to Robben Island for 27 years is an example. Then, of course, the role of the narcissist as an unconscious teacher is also key because the behaviors of the narcissist highlight the egoic mind and push the empath towards transcendence, overcoming the kind of ego attachment. Of course, awakening is not linear, but for the sake of conversation, we'll say the stages of awakening. In this case, we're talking about the dark night of the soul, which is related to thoughts from St. John of the Cross, indicate where the soul confronts despair, right? And there's breakthrough, moments of clarity and universal connection, which can be sparked through meditation and mindfulness practices that accelerate breakthroughs. And of course, when all of this has happened in your awakening process, how do you integrate this into your daily life, living from a place of unity? What are some practical tools for integrating non duality into your daily life? So, non duality sounds good if you've experienced it, sounds abstract if you haven't. So, for those who are on the path of experiencing or understand this concept, you realize that what it does for the empath includes freedom from egoic cycles. In other words, getting rid of victimhood and blame, which is the empath's ability to shift from a reactive state to a position of deep awareness. And then the empath now begins to see the narcissist, I beg your pardon, through the lens of compassion rather than intimidation and fear. And this is accelerated by the power of forgiveness, not reconciliation in all cases, but certainly forgiveness as a tool for liberation. Then another thing that non-duality does for the empath is it helps the empath rediscover their true identity, moving beyond labels such as empath, even though we're using that here, victim or survivor. It is a recognition of oneself as pure, excuse me, awareness, beyond stories or identities, and the embracing of the true self as pure wellness. And so, how do you do this in a lived experience where you still interact with the world and are able to go about your business? And of course, what it does for the empath, these gifts include inner peace, a deeper connection to the world, and the ability to serve and heal others without losing oneself, right? And this is really, really beautiful. Now, I should mention that the ultimate goal of awareness is the foundation of all spiritual practices. Living in the present moment, not trying to escape to a painful past or a better future, which is yet to be manifest, right? It's all about staying mindful and present. And then you really begin to see challenges as teachers, understanding life as a teacher, a guru. You reframe attacks and hardships as opportunities for growth. not opportunities to punish you. And then all of this leads to the empath beginning to realize that they actually are a light worker, where they have wisdom that can be shared with the world, and therefore break generational patterns and generational cycles, healing themselves and future generations. And then sharing these insights into how breaking free impacts your family as well as collective consciousness. So you realize that empaths, this journey is about transformation. Every challenge, every moment of pain has led you closer to the truth of who you are. Non duality isn't just a concept, it's a way of being, and return to your true essence. Remember, you're not alone on this path. We're here at Inner to help guide you as you step into your power and purpose. Type transform or reach out to us via innermarriage.com and recognize that you are on the path towards the greatest gift you can ever uncover, which is the non dual awareness of your nature of your life. Peace and light. Keep on shining.